All right, welcome everyone back to Spiritual Selfish channel. If you're new here, hello, my name is Kristina Day. But you guys, I'm so excited to bring to you first public Q&A. So for those of you who do not know, Q&As is something I do on bi-weekly basis in the Leaders of Light Collective in our membership, where members get to ask any sort of questions, personal level, general, knowledge, and I record a video like this, anywhere between half an hour to an hour, depends on the questions. And it truly has been incredible to have this bi-weekly Q&As. Not only, you get to answer, you get to ask a question and get direct response from me, but also, when you are part of this community and you hear other people asking questions and you hear my replies, and it truly gives you opportunity to see different things that you might not even necessarily thought about before from a new perspective. So we have some amazing questions about triggers, fears, forgiveness, God, source, universe, raising your vibration, all good sort of those things. And with like Leaders of Like Collective, there's such a vast, things that we cover within the collective is, starting from your spiritual awakening and, things like, how do I become even more confident? How do I show up online? How do I work with my shadows? All the way to, galactic beings. We do like a lot of galactic activations, healing, light language, upgrades, all of this, so to speak, journey that you get onto when you start to reconnect back with your inner world, start to reconnect with your soul mission, and understand that there's so much more beyond than just the physical. We talk about this in the Leaders Light Collective. So for those of you who have no idea and not curious about the community, I'm going to leave the link down below. I'm just thinking if there's anything else I wanted to preface. Yeah, the only thing why I decided to do public Q&A is one, because last week, or actually 2 weeks ago, I already filmed an incredible meditation for you guys. It's meditation slash healing slash activation for you to receive more, to allow yourself to become more abundant, to express yourself on so many more levels. And it's going to be amazing, but it just takes me freaking a minute to edit all of this because there will be different like components to it, and I didn't realize that it's going to be time consuming. So I decided, what while I'm taking my time to edit it, to program it also with the right energetical frequency for you guys, I want to provide value to you, and I decided to do Q&A, public Q&A on YouTube, just exactly like the one we're doing in the Leaders of Light Collective. And the questions I gathered are from my YouTube and from Instagram. So if you don't follow me on Instagram at I am Kristina Day, make sure you do, because that's the most, up to date, day-to-day life where you can catch me. Is there anything else I want to share with you before we jump into questions? Of course, as always, donations are graciously received, but not expected at all. If you do resonate with my work, if my content have been helping to you, for you, I greatly appreciate that. You also find the link down in the comments. But other than that, I'm so excited to jump in the first questions. So let me pull this up. And this is how we roll with the community as well. I just open up my phone and go through the questions of the members one by one. So one of the first questions is, I know that love is the answer, but when in our world there's so much darkness, how can one tap into unconditional love? And I think it's a really beautiful question, because love and light is preached all over, and if you are truly conscious, you know that love and light isn't just another polarity of the, you know, contrasting polarity, reality of polarity that we're living in, right? There's darkness and there's light. We cannot truly live just in the light, love and light, and truly just in the darkness. We have to embody all of the aspects of those and everything that is in between. However, you know, when we are talking about unconditional love, right? This is not something that is just, you know, what you'll see online. A lot of spiritual you know, people will preach love and light, yada yada yada. For me personally, unconditional love is the energy of source. It's just is, right? And the polarity of the unconditional love is fear, right? There's love and this fear. All the other emotions are just in between. So when we're speaking about unconditional love, for me personally, it is basically just coming back to who you are, right? And the question said, you know, how can one tap into unconditional love? And the key moment here is to understand that unconditional love is not somewhere out there, outside of you, and that you need to tap into it. No, unconditional love is something you cultivate within yourself. It's something that you connect with and release and allow the unconditional love to flow to you from the source, through you, and out into the world, right? So to answer your question, how can you, you know, connect with that unconditional love? And it's all about coming back to yourself, coming back to the natural state of your being, of your soul, because deep down at your core, you, me, all of us is pure love, right? Right? It's not about love and light. I'm not talking about, you know, wishy-washy illusionary love. I'm talking about the vibration, the frequency of love. All right. So unconditional love is just the creation and manifestation of your inner state of being. So if you want to be that unconditional love, the best advice I can give to you is to realize it's not, you know, who freaking cares what is happening in that world, in the outside world. I know our world is there's madness, right? Especially now within the last 2 years, there's a lot of madness. But the darkness has been always there. Same as love has been always there. It's a matter of your choice, the frequency to which frequency you attune, and which frequency, aka reality, aka timeline, you want to experience, right? So for me personally, just to give you an example, right? So a lot of the people in the last 2 years have been, you know, in a lot of fear, depression, you know, fear of unknown, and so on and so forth. For me personally, I haven't been feeling a lot of, you know, the pandemic effect onto myself directly. Why? It's because I choose not to participate in it energetically. Now, when I say I do not participate in it energetically, does not mean that I am arrogant, avoiding the problem, or I'm not acknowledging. No, there is a madness. There's serious shit going on. But instead of me participating in this darkness and suffering in this darkness, I step away. And it's almost like when you observe and you're behind the glass window and you observe the things that are happening. Yes, of course, I'm still part of this 3D reality, and, you know, some of the restrictions have been affecting me, like not being able to go to the grocery stores or gym or cafes and those kind of things. But does it affect me energetically? No, not at all, because this is my choice. So this is one. First, it's about connecting with you, reconnecting with yourself. It's your freaking choice. And the best way to, because a lot of the people will think, well, I meditate, I listen to myself, and so on and so forth. But I don't feel unconditional love. I still think that person is an idiot. How do we do that? And this is where the work comes in. This is where the shadow work is so important, because you won't be able to fully feel that unconditional love towards other people, toward the external world, if you do not feel unconditional love within, towards yourself first, right? And this is why it's so important to forgive yourself, to go through this, dark night of the soul, to work with your shadows, to work with your unconscious parts of yourself that keep you stuck, for example, in resentment, in judging other people, criticizing yourself. Because, if you're judging other people for something, most probably you're judging that within yourself. So it's about clearing those distorted frequencies that are preventing you from feeling that love, from feeling that joy and unconditional love, right? And for me, for myself, I truly started to experience this unconditional love for anyone and everyone, and the things, and just being in a moment in life when I truly like forgave myself, when I forgave, my parents, my culture, for all the wrongs. And this is what truly sets your heart free, opens up your heart, right? It's about opening your heart and remembering that, everyone is just doing everything. Everyone is doing the best they can with the best knowledge that they have, right? So it is a process of releasing those distorted frequencies that are kind of on the caliber of fear, shame, guilt, all of those, uh, dense frequencies. And this is something that is also obviously I cover in my course, Free Your Shadow, where we go through all of different emotions and we release them, we learn the release techniques on mental, emotional, physical levels. So it is really important that you connect with that unconditional love within yourself and stop participating with everything that is going on in the outside. Outside, the external world only has effect on you if you allow that to affect you, your vibration. But you can see that and still choose a different frequency, right? And unconditional love is one of the highest frequencies, and it comes only after you release that which is kind of blocking and preventing those energies from coming in, because that's your natural state of being. All right. I hope this was helpful, my love. So the next question, why is there God/source? And I think that's very like very interesting question. And when I read it, I was like, good question. Like, I would like to know too. But to be honest, even when I was a small kid and when I was a teenager, I always asked myself, I thought to myself, well, why everything exists? Why that tree exists? Why these people exist? Why this reality exists? Why everything exists? And I was like, I just freaking don't get it. Why the cosmos exists, right? I think like my, light worker starseed old soul was speaking to me already then. And, I'll give you my perspective, all right? I don't, to be honest, even know where this information is in my head, because sometimes you just know, right? One of the clear abilities, like psychic abilities, is just knowing, right? Claircognizance. So for me, source is this like whole of energy, the source of energy from which everything comes, both the light and the dark. Source is a source of everything. And when the source, appeared, which is the vibration of unconditional love, it was just there. It just is. So instead of it just being, source decided to explore itself and to express itself, because source is a creator, right? Now, bear with me, it's going to be a little bit complicated answer, but as I'm seeing it in my mind's eye, source basically decided to express itself in different forms, ways, uh, ways, shapes, and forms, right? And one of the first expressions that source have expressed itself with were the elements. And again, it expressed itself within polarity, with the polarity. So it expressed itself with water and fire, air and earth. Again, the polarity. Why the polarity is needed? Because when the polarities, so to speak, clench with each other, it encourages growth. It creates, so to speak, explosion from which new creations, new solutions can be birthed, right? So this is why I want you to understand, guys, why the darkness is essential to our growth. There's no bad or wrong. It's just this, right? It's just we humans label something bad. None of that stuff. Source doesn't care, universe doesn't care. It just is, all right? So first of the things that it expressed itself within were the elements. Then it started to express itself through, things like nature, trees, and weather and air and those kind of things. After that, I'm not, don't like think that I'm giving you like historical step by step. It's just like how I'm seeing it in my mind eye, like overall process, right? The elements, then the nature, the environment, then the animals were created, and the source continues to grow, continues to develop itself because of the polarity reality. And then there were animals like living beings. Elements are not, sort of to speak, like living beings. It's more of a matter. And after the animals, the source decided to blend itself with the living being and to blend consciousness with the living being. This is where first conscious beings were created, right? And then those conscious beings started to develop themselves. Obviously there were wars and so on, but those races developed and grew and grew and grew, and it expanded across all different planets, across different constellations and races. And this is what we know now are different races: Pleiadians, Arcturians. I'm not gonna name some of the races, but there are so many. And some of those races decided to create, us humans. We are not first humans. There were human races that were prior, but if we're talking about our human race, in my opinion, humble opinion, right? If something does not resonate with you, do not take it, right? Leave it on a shelf. We were genetically modified and blended with different alien DNA, right? As an experiment to see, can we live with one another in peace? Again, that polarity reality causes new creations and solutions, right? So to come back to your question, why God or source exists, and by all means, when I say God, I don't know what you mean by God, but when I say God for me is not Jesus Christ who is standing in the sky with a chalkboard and writing down your sins. For me, God is the infinite source of energy, is the quantum field, is the universe, that which we cannot perceive with our physicality. That's what God and source does for me, right? So why it exists, a simple answer is to explore itself and to evolve. And when you even think about it on a grand scheme and bring it down to each and every one of us on individual level, that's exactly who we are. We are living and experiencing this polarity reality, which causes us to create, to think, to problem solve, and our purpose, because you are your own source and creator. And your number one purpose, if you don't know your specific soul mission, but all of us have one purpose: to evolve. And the source is also decided to evolve itself. Now, I don't know the answer to the question why it exists in the first place. Who created source, or did it create itself, or was there a big bang? Which I think probably, there was something like that, through which then it started to express itself further. But why it continues to exist is because it has to evolve. It is continuing to explore itself and expand. All right. So that's a very interesting question. If you who asked me the question, or anyone, guys, wants to add something, has another view, I would love absolutely to hear this, and how this my view lands with all of you. Let me know in the comments. All right, next question. Where is it? I got lost. All right, so hi, Kristina. What everyday practice other than shadow work and meditation can one do to get out of limiting beliefs, to heal, let go, raise awareness and vibration, and move forward with higher frequency? Great question. And I think that's a question that packs into itself a lot. Because, when you say what everyday practice other than shadow work, we have to remember that shadow work alone is not a practice. Shadow work is a big label that covers, includes into itself a lot of the things. For me, shadow work, in short, words, is working with your unconscious parts on mental, emotional, physical levels, right? It's releasing those aspects of yourself that are, causing you to do and take unconscious actions, right? So for me, shadow work, for me personally, is not a daily practice. It's an ongoing lifestyle, so to speak. Yes, when you first awaken to the limitations, when you first have spiritual awakening, there will be a period which is often referred to as dark night of the soul, which is basically one of the most intense periods where you do shadow work. So for example, for me, it probably lasted my first intense, when I consciously was aware that I'm doing shadow work, it lasted for me like 6 months, and literally every day I almost was crying, hating myself, thinking what the hell is going on, why nothing is working, where my life is heading, like what the hell, right? So now I do I do shadow work consciously by my choice, because I'm continuing to up leveling. There are desires and dreams that I want to achieve, and when I'm encountering a resistance, often that resistance means there are unconscious beliefs or frequencies within your field that are causing you not to move forward. So then I will explore that resistance and clear and release that, right? So for me, shadow work is not one practice. It's many practices. It's many tools on different levels that you can have, right? So meditation for me is, I don't meditate a lot. Maybe you guys, it will be hard for you to believe, but I don't meditate a lot, because for me, just sitting and quieting your mind does not do much. If I go into meditation, I with my consciousness, I may go speak with my guides, or I may go to a spaceship and request support, or I will go in the past and talk to my inner child, right? You either do with your consciousness a healing or an upgrade, or you receive guidance. Meditation, just sitting there, for me, yes, it helps you to quiet the chatter of the mind. And if that's where you begin, that's perfect. In such a sense, meditation will help you to raise your vibration, because you stop the chatter of the mind, stop the chatter of the criticizing thoughts, which is also important, right? But to answer your question, it's hard to answer directly with one reply, because it depends, what do you do, or what do you want to do, why do you even want to raise your vibration, right? So I highly will recommend you to ask yourself, why do I even want to raise my frequency, right? For me, it was, I was not understanding why I'm so doubtful, why my business is not working, and most importantly, not my spiritual business, but the one that I had in the, before that, why I feel so unfulfilled, why I feel like a bag of shit, and that caused me, that suffering caused me, pushed me to do the shadow work, right? My goal wasn't, I want to raise awareness, I want to raise my vibration. My goal was to get out of the suffering, right? So it is based on, what your goals are, then you choose the practice. And again, it based on with what you're dealing. It can be anything. It can be freaking jumping around and dancing will raise your vibration. And if you shake, you will shake off the frequencies that maybe are stuck in your body. Working with your inner child, forgiveness, paying attention to your triggers, uh, working with your, reparenting, forgiving your parents, forgiving your culture. Like, there's so many things that you can do. Being grateful, affirmations, it works for so many people. I don't want to just overwhelm you with naming different tools, because I don't know you, I don't know your why. So maybe I will tell you, yeah, maybe I will tell you a practice, but it has nothing to do with your personal experience, or, a childhood trauma that you hold, and it will do nothing for you, right? So first of all, my advice for you will be to get clear on why do you want to raise vibration. Maybe you are at the point where you are ready to receive upgrades and you want to expand into abundance, tap into that unconditional love. Or is it more about healing and releasing those old frequencies and kind of being where I was, going away from the suffering? And then we kind of need to do, reparenting, inner child healing, those kind of things, releasing the tension. A good place to start, uh, if you are kind of lost, is, I would say, my 5-day frequency reset is exactly that. Like, it will give you the basics to understand how the energy and the frequency works. Why do you want to raise your frequency, right? How to become an energetical match to what you desire. And like, I really created it. It's 5-day frequency reset. There are some bonuses that will take it a little bit longer than 5 days, but every day I will teach you about different plane of existence: mental, emotional, physical. And I will also give you a practice every day, so you have a daily action step over those 5 days, how to raise vibration of your mental body, how to raise vibration of your emotions, how to raise the vibration of your physical body, right? So that's, very simple, down to earth. You also receive even a cookbook, and you also learn about vibration of the food within that. So I'm gonna link it down below for anyone wanting to check it out. I think that's the best place to start if you're looking to kind of overall lifestyle change and to reset your frequency, right? Because if if you don't have necessarily a goal, that will kind of help you to get started. All right, so I hope this helps. I think I have been going already for forever, but that's how it is, guys. I love to talk and give you different perspectives, so to make sure that everyone who asks question within the Leaders of Light Collective, gets something out of it. Yeah. So I think we have 2 more questions. 1, 2. Yeah, 2 questions. how to deal with past mistakes and forgiving yourself for them. This one is more relationship based. And I love, guys, you notice how questions are kind of overlapping, or what I'm saying is overlapping, because how many times did I say forgiveness already based with the other questions? And now, the question is how to deal with past mistakes and forgiving yourself for them. So I want you to realize there are no mistakes. There are none. The only reason you think you made a mistake is because somebody taught you that this is bad. Now, I know we may, especially in relationships, because that's what you're referring to, we may hurt other people consciously or unconsciously. But just because you hurt someone or you made a bad decision doesn't make it a mistake. For me, mistake is a learning opportunity. It's an experience that had to happen so that you can learn from it, and you decide, like, you know what, this is not how I want things to be. This is now how I enjoy myself being or acting. And from that, you can redirect and make more mature decisions and actions, so that you can raise your consciousness, raise your awareness. If that mistake would not happen, you will not have an opportunity to become aware of this limited way of being, right? So first of all, please remove the judgment. There's no wrong, there's no bad. Again, as I said, guys, when I was talking about source, we're all energy of the source. We're just different expressions. We're everything between love and fear. And these mistakes, this, clashes of the contrast creates the opportunity to heal, opportunity to grow, opportunity to realize some things that, hey, I'm not okay with that. But if that would not happen, you will not even have the opportunity to become a new version, a more upgraded version of you. Right? So remove the judgment. You're loved. You're supported. You're guided. The only reason you think you made a mistake is because that's a human programming. That's, cultural conditioning, that you receive. Have that. You are loved, and there's no mistakes. So first of all, when you realize, like, all right, it's not a mistake, I did the best I could. How to forgive yourself. For me personally, forgiving myself and forgiving other people comes down to realization that everyone is doing the best they can with the knowledge they have. Trust me, people are not trying to hurt you. And I believe that you are not trying to hurt other people. It's just sometimes, because of our unconscious programming and behavior and trauma, we're doing some shit that may cause pain and suffering within us and other people. But it's a matter of understanding and feeling compassion to yourself and forgiving yourself. First of all, as with any shadow work, you have to feel it, to heal it, and to release it. So if you need, cry. I always, recommend writing forgiveness letter to yourself. So how to forgive yourself? Just allow yourself to feel it and then release it and feel compassion towards yourself. If you hurt someone in a relationship, know that, I just did the best I could. And you know what? If that's the case, when you consciously chose to hurt somebody, when people are at the point where they consciously choose to hurt other people, I'm not saying that this is you. Possibly, maybe. And even if it is, I don't judge you, and there's no judgment for it. Hurt people. All right? We have to realize, again, it comes back to we're doing the best we can with the knowledge we have. And often people who have been hurt by other people, who are in deep pain deep down inside. They have this suffering within themselves that they do not know any better than to go and put it out there onto others, right? And we have to have compassion to those people, and compassion if this is your behavior, right? So, take a nice deep breath in through the nose, expand your heart, hold, and gently release. Come back to this present moment. Connect with your heart. Release. Your past is not your past, right? You now have the opportunity to learn and to make a better choice. So be grateful for this experience, that, unpleasant experience, maybe, most probably, but there's nothing wrong about it, right? It just is. It's another expression of the source, of you, the creator. So, the fact that you're just asking this type of questions and you want to make better just shows where your heart is, right? It's just a matter of releasing that and clearing it out of your consciousness, out of your energetical field, right? I'm sending you so much love, and I hope this helps. Definitely, if you need support more on this, like in more safer space than public Q&A, I truly think that, joining Leaders of Light Collective will be that community for you, be that safe place, because all the members within the Leaders of Light Collective are beautiful souls who are working on themselves, who are supporting one another, and you never will be judged there, right? So yeah, if you want to join and have that community where you can go deeper into this work and be supported on your journey, definitely check it out. And the last question, let me pull this up. How to deal with people that trigger me a lot. And I love this question because, with the triggers, again, we have to realize that if there will not be an emotional charge within you, that person will not even trigger you. You wouldn't freaking care if somebody says, oh, you're stupid, oh, you're that, oh, or if someone is behaving in some inappropriate way. You truly wouldn't give a flying F if something within you wouldn't be hurting, if there would not be an emotional charge. The reason we first need to understand why we're getting triggered. The reason we're getting triggered is because, think of our body as a vessel, and there are different compartments. And there's a compartment where it's almost full. It's like ready to freaking explode. And something within, in the external, you observe something in the external world that is an exact vibrational resonance to that compartment within you, which just fills up that compartment even more, and you just freaking blow up, boom, right? Have it ever happened to you that somebody just says a small thing and you just make a freaking huge deal out of it? It is because we're triggered, because deep down inside, right, the trigger and the reaction is just reaction, is the result of what is happening inside. And what is happening inside is deep wound or an emotional charge that is trying to protect itself, right? So think about the spiked metal fence. If you have a deep wound inside of I'm not lovable, or I don't know how to make money, I will always be broke, people always want to screw me. If there is a belief, wound, trauma, or whatever that is hurting and is so full of that emotional charge, any situation that will come up in your life that causes you to threaten that feeling again and kind of picks on that wound, your psyche will create this defense reaction, like a cat, right? Like that's truly is our reptilian brain, our survival fight or flight mode turning on and trying to protect us. That's what trigger is. Trigger is a reflection of where the healing needs to be applied, where the healing needs, right? So let's say, what was the question? I'm sorry. How to deal with people that trigger me a lot. Instead of saying this person is idiot, this person is mad, and by all means, some people are just assholes. Look, stop, pause, and look why this situation, why this person triggered me. Because again, that person can be an idiot, but you can, if there's no emotional charge, there's no pain within you, you can be like, all right, dude, you do you, I see your projection onto me, and that's it. I don't take it onto me, right? Because you're not in vibrational resonance to that. You're in a sovereign state of mind. But when we have these wounds, we're like, drunk on an emotion, on the pain, and living in the illusion. So first, come back to yourself, pause, take a nice deep breath in, and realize that all the trigger does is shines light where you need a little bit of love, attention, healing, whatever it might be. So my biggest piece of advice is that you don't deal with people. You don't try to fix the people. You actually pay attention what caused you to feel the trigger, right? Sorry, my throat. Because yeah, I'm just thinking, is there anything that comes through? At this point for me, the only person who really, like, there are two types of person who can trigger me. One person is super arrogant people that they know what they're doing, like they think they're the best, and they will put down everyone else. Those people that kind of trigger me. And of course, there's some healing that I need to do on my side. And the second type of person, not even a type, is my mother, right? Why? Because there are, wounds and pain from my childhood that I'm not aware of all of it yet. And, just because I was raised by this, woman, I was conditioned by her frequency, just her being can trigger me. And, this is applicable to all of us. It's not that my mom is, that there's something wrong with her. It's just like always our caretakers, our parents, or whatever, who raised you, that programming that is deep down inside of you from the childhood is where it will hit the hardest. And a lot of the times those triggers, when somebody says something, I don't know, let's use an example of money. You were raised in a poverty consciousness, and now you're starting to work onto yourself, like, I can receive money is easy, money is good, I deserve money. And you're trying to expand that, way of being. And then you come, I don't know, visit a family, and you see your mother or your friends starting to count money, every cent, and calculating how we can save more. And you're getting triggered, like, stop it, stop being this limited, poor. Why? Because there's still pain within you, right? So go back to yourself and, say thank you that for my mother or my friends or whoever, triggered you, that you brought it to my awareness, where I'm still kind of, playing and allowing this unconscious past trauma or whatever it is, suppressed emotions to affect me. And you just follow that thread, right? And then you again feel it to heal it, and then you clear and release. And by releasing that emotional charge, right, in feeling it, we're emptying that compartment of pain, and we're healing the wound. So the next time somebody, I don't know, says something that could, trigger you in the past, or some unconscious behavior from somebody else, you're just observing it, because you have awareness. You raised your awareness to a higher standpoint of view. So instead of being in the wound, being in this experience, you raise the awareness, and you're like, oh, this has happened because of this. Oh, I used to be this way too. I used to think this way. So instead of being triggered by those people, you start to feel compassion, right? But in order to get there, you first need to feel that within yourself, and feel compassion to yourself, and forgive yourself, right? And guys, there are questions, how do I forgive myself? How do I feel unconditional love? I want you to know that when you go deep down inside, your consciousness will know what to do. My first time, not the first time, longest time, I didn't even know I'm going through spiritual awakening. I didn't even know I'm going through shadow work period. I just were following the thread of emotions that I was feeling. And then I was naturally releasing. And the more I released, the more at peace I felt. And unconditional love started coming from me, right? So I want you to chill the heck out and know you, at the core of your being, you are love. And the more you pay attention to the resistance, the more you release it, the more your natural way of being will return back to its natural state of being. Right? So it's programmed within you to come back to that natural state of being, right? So I just want to empower you. Stop seeking for a process, for another strategy, another tool, another manifestation technique. No, just freaking, clear that all out away. Even if you don't know any techniques, you're still capable of healing yourself by feeling and listening to your freaking heart and your inner child and your consciousness, and being truly freaking 100% honest and vulnerable with your emotions. What do you feel, and what the experience feels in you right now, in this moment now? All right. So the question, how to deal with people that trigger me a lot: bring higher awareness that is just a mirror that where your healing needs. And obviously be respectful, don't react to those people, and take freaking responsibility that it's not them, it's actually you. And start working through that healing, and release the emotional charge. And then those comments or whatever will just won't affect you, right? You will stop noticing eventually. Because why? Because you're not an energetical match to it any longer. All right, my loves, I think that's all. 5 questions. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. Maybe at some point in the future, I'm gonna do another public Q&A. But if you'd like to receive this kind of support ongoing, I welcome you. I'm happy to receive you and have you in the Leaders of Light Collective. Again, I'm gonna leave the link for it down below. Down below, you'll find the donation link if you're feeling called to support me. And the courses that I promised, the 5-day frequency reset, to help you to reset your frequency and have daily actionable steps. And also I'll drop the link for the free Your Shadow for those of you who are searching for like a toolbox, for those of you who are searching for practices and tools to release your suppressed emotions, to learn how to work with those unconscious parts of you on belief levels, emotions, habits, those kind of things, right? So all my love to you. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for incredible questions. It was a joy for me to create this for you, and definitely stay tuned. In the next upcoming weeks, the beautiful meditation slash activation is going to be coming to you completely free of charge. So I'm so excited to share this with you. But other than that, have a lovely day and we'll chat soon. Bye.